What's my pronouns? Cash App.
YouTube. What's good with y'all, man? It's Groovy back. Look, today we're going to be talking about something that I do have some experience in. You know, because I have dated a few transgendered females in my life. I'm not ashamed of that. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Honestly, I really think it takes a special dude, you know what I mean, to actually date someone who's trans. You know what I mean? It takes a special dude, it takes a strong dude. You know what I mean? Someone who's strong in the mind, you know, to really, be able to handle a woman like this. And a problem that a lot of these females have. And yes, I said females. At me if you want to. I really don't give a fuck. But what they all struggle with is being passable. You know what I mean? Being misgendered. So that's what we're going to look at today. It is a pretty lengthy video. So, if y'all don't stay for the whole thing, I understand. If you do, I appreciate it. Matter of fact, if you stay for the whole thing, write done in the comments. Alright? But this is from Tea Time Network, which I do follow them. Shout out to Ashley Breathe. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's go.
Like, I don't need a fucking trophy to know I'm real. I know I'm real.
I've had guys cry to me, be like, I wish you would have never told me.
When they stay in too long, that's when they get clocked. When they give you that
trans girl confession.
Feel like a fam. Feel like a fam. Feel like the hot tea. Feel so
Now,
Okay.
they want to know, what's your pronoun?
Okay. Now see, first off, that right there, that is what turns us men off. And I've dated 3 trans women. And that was the first thing to come out their damn mouth. So how do you really expect us men to really respect y'all and want to build a life with you, but the first thing that comes out your mouth is cash? Come on now, ladies, think about that. Because just like I said, I follow Tea Time Network, so I've seen these conversations of how come, men treat them wrong, how come men only use them for sex. It's almost like because y'all only use us for money. You know what I mean? It's rare that you could find someone who is genuine. You know what I mean? And actually wants to get to know you for you instead of what's in your pocket. How much you could give them. You know what I mean? But I digress. Let's get back into it.
If someone asks you, what are your pronouns?
Yes, absolutely. I find that very offensive. Can't you tell? When I know I'm passable and it's just like, you're going to ask me what my pronouns are, like, bitch, are you trying it? You're trying it. Are you trying to clock me? Yeah, like, no.
oh, what's your pronouns? What do you mean? What you see? What you see, what you get? We're not gonna play that. What's my pronouns? What you see is what you get. If you say woman, please don't ask me what's my pronouns, because that was going into disrespect. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to ask a woman of kindred spirits what's her pronouns if this thing over here bodied. How you gonna ask a girl what's her pronouns if she over here bodied? I'm talking about bodied like hips and ass and titties. Don't ask me what's my pronouns, because then I'm gonna go just like this. Excuse me? Ask the non-binaries what's their pronouns.
You know what? Like nowadays things are getting a little bit confusing because we have so many trans people nowadays that want to keep their beard, you know, want to put a little lipstick, a wig, and call themselves trans, or you know, or that they're a woman. And for me, obviously, knowing what it is to go through misgendering and stuff, I obviously have respect, you know, and I try my hardest, even though I might sometimes fuck up, just like anybody else would, you know, because if you're not portraying this image of a woman, don't expect people to treat you or use the proper pronouns. You know, it takes time.
They so quick to ask a woman of trans experience what should they call them by, but a motherfucking man with 100% testosterone in his body could walk past here with a forbidden mustache and beat it with a boy t-shirt and girl clothing and boy sneakers, and they calling that a miss. It's a man.
But wouldn't that be transphobic of you to say that?
It can't be transphobic.
But people will say that it's self-hate.
Actually, you know what? That is transphobic. You know why? Because from what my understanding is, trans comes in many forms. From my understanding. Now, if I am miseducated, then hey, I could send you to the sites that I went through that actually said that. You know what I mean? But, I mean, okay. As far as asking your pronouns, I get it. It is offensive. But, here's the thing. Is that a lot of y'all get the 100% makeover, right? You get the 100% makeover. Everything's done. Now, this man is coming and talk to you. He may be seeing a future with you that you cannot provide. If you get my drift. You know what I mean? So yes, I definitely think that asking pronouns is on the edge, but at the same time, I mean, you got to think about where the man is at. You know what I mean? Because like I was saying, let's say that you are 1,000,000% just pass, right? I'm talking about you got coochie and everything. Now, what if he's thinking of having a baby with you? And what if he's like, nah, adoption is out of the question. I want the real thing. I want you to be in the delivery room pushing. That's something that y'all can't provide. So I understand why you feel that it's offensive to ask the pronouns, but sometimes we gotta ask. And we gotta ask. We gotta ask because our brains may go further than what you are at the time. We may be thinking marriage, kids. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get it, but it really shouldn't be that offensive, especially, you know, for a man to ask, especially in these days. These days, because the facts, hey, he may not want a trans woman. He may want a cis. You know what I mean? Yes, I get it. You will most likely feel that that's fucked up because he's not giving you a chance. I get it. But at the same time, try to think about where he is coming from, is all I'm saying. I hope that made sense.
It can't be self-hate. Let's be real. Let's stop the bullshit. See, that's the problem now. We gotta stop that. Let's stop the bullshit.
When people ask me for my pronouns, I have two reactions. One being like, excuse me? Like, what about me is not presenting absolute woman to you, right? But then I have to think about, wait a minute, okay, but we always talk about in the trans movement, like, you can never make an assumption about anyone's gender identity. So
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I was saying. You can't make assumptions on who he or she is, because you could go and have a friend named Mike, and Mike can be a trans man. You know what I mean? You just can't assume. So yes, we have to ask these questions, especially nowadays. In 2023 and beyond, we got to ask these questions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if y'all seem offended, or if you are offended. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But we have to ask these questions. We got to ask these questions because we may not want a trans woman. We may want a cis. You know what I mean? So yes, we have to ask these questions, and y'all should be doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean? Because you may be like, oh, that dude fine as hell. Come to find out, Batman trans. And then what? You know what I mean? So yes, always ask questions and stop being offended, y'all.
happily answer that question. She, her, hers. I understand that some people could take offense to that, especially if they have this quote unquote passability. And I say quote unquote because what is passability? There's no one way to pass as a cis person, so why is there a way to pass as a trans person? And I personally don't aspire to be cisgender. A cisgender woman. I aspire to be a badass trans woman who is just living her life and thriving as a trans woman.
You don't have to remind me that I'm trans. Every day when I wake up in the morning at 5 a.m., I have to stand and take a piss and whip my dick out. I know I'm trans every day.
And you could be trans too. This is brought to you by Estrogen.
Oh, man. Stuff like that. Come on now. Let's be real. Hard topic to tackle, but stuff like that is why the bullshit happens. That's why the bullshit happens, because of stuff like this. I mean, this sister is making fun of the situation. I digress, man, before I go somewhere else.
My advice to girls who are struggling with passing, we all have that struggle. Even if you do pass, we still have struggles. Like, being passable is literally a mindset. Being passable is, when they say beauty is literally in the eye of the beholder, beauty is just that, in the eye.
That is the realest shit that she said so far. I'm sorry. That's the realest shit she said so far, because it's true. It holds weight. You know what I mean? It holds a lot of weight. Because that's true. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So what you may think is beautiful, the next person may not. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the realest shit she said so damn far.
Eye of the beholder, because the same guy that will come and tell me that I'm so beautiful and that I'm just all of the things just gorgeous and just a total knockout will go right behind me and tell Miss Piggy that she's the same. You know, and tell Bob, the drag queen, that they are the most beautiful, most gorgeous trans that they have ever seen. And to me, that is a slap in the face. Like, in what capacity do you think that me, Bob, and the femboy all were in the same sentence? Like, I don't get it. I've had a fine ass nigga sit beside me and was like, so what's the difference between you and a femboy? And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, what's the difference? And he was like,
now, see, sister, you took offense to that. Because what if he didn't know? What if he was genuinely asking a question and you get offended? Because maybe he didn't know. Y'all gotta think about that. Maybe he didn't know and was genuinely asking what the difference is. Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? But think about that. Maybe that man was genuinely asking because he didn't know.
Listen, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's the difference? He's like, explain to me. And I'm like, well, for one is in transition and the other one's not. So, well, what can they do that you do different? And I'm like, be a girl.
Okay, so I think people see trans women as femboys because I think a lot of men who say they are attracted to trans women are actually not attracted to trans women. They're dick amorous. And they like dick or bussy amorous. So I have had some men ask if I'm a femboy, and it's kind of offensive that there's so little understanding of different gender identities. That's the first thing. I would rather be fetishized as a trans woman than a femboy.
Why y'all putting a trans woman up against a gay guy? I'm not a gay guy. How could I be a gay guy? How? For them to look at us as a femboy, I think that is totally disrespectful. You mean to tell me, no matter how much hormones I took, how much I transitioned over a decade, you want to tell me that we are the same? Very out of order, but this is why I charge these guys.
The trans umbrella is so wide and so inclusive that sometimes it just makes things very difficult for heterosexual, transsexual women like myself, who find it very seemingly more difficult for people to identify, recognize, and differentiate the differences and levels between the umbrella of trans, because all trans aren't transitioning, all trans aren't, fully transitioning, if that makes sense. Any femininity they see as a girl or ladylike.
And this is where I really think that the time should be took to break down whatever it is. Ask that man who you're interested in, does he know? You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, does he know the differences between a trans female, a gay, a femboy? You know what I mean? And questions like that, because I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of us men jump in head first. Me, I was one of them. I had to go on to this very platform and go from video to video to video to video just to have some kind of understanding, because I didn't know how to approach the situation. I just knew that I was attracted, but I didn't know how to approach the situation. You know what I mean? So just, have some patience with us men that actually want to learn and try to understand. Not the ones that are trying to out you and all that shit. Yeah, them, they could go kick rocks. You know what I mean? But us men who are really trying to understand, don't be too quick to get offended when we're asking questions and stuff like that. Just have some patience with us and break it down.
Or, a woman, or the essence or facade of a girl. So to them, they place us together. And I think that's the key to why the T should be separated from the LGBT T.
I personally, at one point in my life, wasn't passable. This was when I first started my transition, and I feel like all the girls go through that. But as years pass by and I've gotten surgeries like FFS, and I've been on hormones now more than 8 years. I think 8 or 9 years now. I started when I was 17. And I used to actually also take birth control pills at such a young age. Now that I'm passable, it's a little bit hard because, on my everyday life as we walk, sometimes we meet men, and when they see this beautiful woman or this person that just oozes femininity, they obviously, if they're heterosexual, gravitate towards that. And sometimes it's scary because, of course, you don't want to spill your tea to just anyone, and so it's hard to sometimes make relationships or friendships because this person sees you as this beautiful woman and everything, but you're holding on to this like big secret, and it could be a little bit scary, especially in situations when a guy is getting a little bit too close and too touchy. I'm a firm believer.
Now, when it comes to that, I have a certain opinion on that I'm very sure, y'all won't like. But a motherfucker can never say, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, I really just feel that, in a safe environment, let me put that out there first. In a safe environment, the man needs to know ASAP. Because just like she said, gets touchy, feely, you know what I mean? Because that whole man's idea of you could change quickly. You know what I mean? Especially if that man's hands have already been on you. Let's say, he's already kissed your neck and and you actually enjoying it, but at the same time you're still holding that secret. Now, when you decide to reveal, that can flip everything. You know what I mean? It can flip everything to where you were the woman of his dreams, now he just sees red. This is why I say, you know what? I would rather someone tell me up front before we even start getting any further in the conversation. You know what I mean? Let me know. Because I got a feeling a lot of these murders that happened in the past and now have a little bit to do with that. Is that yes, to the eye, you're passable shit. But what about, the other things? Just like I was saying earlier, like about a future. He may see you as his wife, the woman to bear his kids. You know what I mean? It's always, I know it's scary as fuck. I know that. But I would prefer for someone to tell me right there and bam, hey, hold on. This is who I am. Can you accept that? And if the man wants to say yes, I would go a step further. If he wants to meet, I'm bringing at least 3 to 4 of my friends. Why is that? Because I know how the game works. I know how the game works, and it makes men like me look bad. Where a man like me is like, okay, cool. Hey, let's meet up. Let's go grab some lunch, grab some dinner. You know what I mean? And I know that sometimes that individual doesn't come back. You know what I mean? Because it was like all a fucking setup. But one thing I would love for y'all to actually do is to bring your friends on dates. That's how you really know if the guy is fucking with you. Is if you could be around your friends and have the same fucking energy that he had on the phone or on the dating site, you may just have a good one. I digress again. I'm sorry,
Favor of being honest, you know, especially because nowadays we have a lot of the girls that get killed, you know, unfortunately, for not being honest and
Yes,
upfront.
yes.
But I also feel as though I shouldn't just be like, hi, my name is Demi and I'm trans, you know, automatically. I feel like you kind
I disagree. I think that that's the way that things should go. Because after that, that man cannot come to you or anything and say, I was tricked. No. You were told right then and there. You were told. So you can't come to a courthouse or anything and say, oh, I was tricked. I didn't know. No, you were told. And I go a step further, right? So let's say that you meet a man on a dating site. You spill the tea. He says, okay, that fucking text or that exchange is going to every fucking friend that I know. It's going to my mama, my daddy, best friends, cousins. It's going to everybody. So just in case that motherfucker tried that bullshit, nah. Right here it says that you knew. You said okay. Once again, I digress. I'm just trying to help y'all, man. And I mean no offense.
just know when the vibe is right or when you feel like you're comfortable. But for me personally, like let's say if I go on a date with a guy, right? We talk, whatever, we vibe. Let's say we get so along and he's like, hey, I want to see you next time. And once he says, I want to see you next time, for me personally, I'm like, okay, like I can tell you're feeling me. We're vibing. And you know, everything is going great. The day is going great. So there comes a point where I personally do it through the phone. I'll call them and I'll be like, hey, like I genuinely want to be honest with you and just let you know that I am a trans woman. And if you're open-minded, that's perfectly fine. And if you're not, that's also perfectly fine. You know, I feel like we live in a world where some men are just comfortable with dating all types of women, and there's some men that aren't. And you'd be surprised. There's a lot of guys that are actually willing to, you know, experiment or be with a doll. So
Well, first of all, we have to be real. We are living in a difficult time. We are living in difficult times, and we have to understand that society not letting us through at all. So, for the girls that want to pass or trying to be passable, I think it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. I'm going to give you the blessing. The blessing of being passable is that you get to blend in with society and nobody knows your business. And it's like an easy day in the park. It's like an easy day in the park. It's like an easy walk in the park. Like, you don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about if somebody's gonna get into your tea and do anything harm to you, because you know in the world know that you're a passable girl. And I think, to be honest, I think it's very important to be passable, because guys they still, until this day, doing harmful stuff to us. They still killing us. You even have not even older guys now.
Now, I think being passable is a gift and a curse, just like she just said. It's a gift and a curse. I mean, you know, it's a gift because just like she said, you are able to walk around in society with really no fears, you know, but I definitely think that being not passable has its benefits. And why I say that, because you can't say, I'm confused. You can't say, this person tricked me, because you know exactly who you're dealing with. You know? I mean, it's a tricky conversation. I mean, it is a tricky conversation.
Let's talk about how these kids is being raised to discriminate against trans women, passable and non-passable. Please be careful. Being passable is cute. It's over and everything, but in the hood, you gotta be careful of the jealous females. The jealous females. Let's talk about being passable in hood. The trade might live and everything. He probably ain't gonna know T. You probably would tell him T, probably don't know. But it's always the females in the hood that will set you up. So I'm gonna say this to the girls. When you move in the hood, my best advice is to not be friendly. I would rather tell a guy my T over the phone. I can't do it in the streets because it's too much going on. You tell a guy in the streets, you don't know if you got a knife or a gun. So you would want to be passable so you can get through.
About a year and a half ago, I was in the drive-thru of a Sonic, and I had an altercation with the manager, and he asked me what I was.
If them call you sir, I don't know what they did then.
Because they saw the name on my credit card, and they were not being nice people.
Well, I mean, that's all your name on the credit card. What do you want them to tell you?
That has nothing to do with it. There could be someone in the back that they don't see.
So, what are you? So I can call you a sir or ma'am. What are you?
What would you assume looking at me?
What are you?
What would you assume looking at me?
I assume that you're a man. Okay?
I made a TikTok video about it thinking that, you know, I needed support because I had just come out. I was getting over a major drug relapse after being sober for like 14 years. I wasn't in the best place. And
Real talk, though. Real talk. I'm proud of you. Don't know you, but I'm proud of you. I mean, to be able to kick drugs, it's hard. It's hard as fuck to kick drugs. So for you to do that, hey. We're real shit. Real shit. Real shit.
at that point, I saw myself as the most beautiful woman in the world. And, you know, regardless of my passability or my not passability, everyone should be treated with respect when they're getting fast food. I was sticking up for myself and other people who would be in that situation who wouldn't be able to speak up for themselves. You know, it could lead to someone's dysphoria and take them to a really bad place mentally, physically, etc. I just got my documents changed in the last couple months, and I waited because my family was having a little bit of trouble with my transition, and they asked me to give them a little bit of time. This was a huge safety risk for me because I would show up looking like myself and being myself, Eden Rose Torres, female, and my documentation said my old name and male. So every time I checked into a hotel, every time I paid for something with a credit card or had to show my ID, I was outed automatically, whether people knew or not. It added another layer of me not being protected. So once I finally did get those documents changed, I felt so safe, so secure, and it really empowers me to just like live my truth every day.
You ever had gay men use your photo?
Listen, gay men will use the girls. Every gay that was around me that was like a friend, all trans now. All started out as a prostitute, hoes, you know, working, you know, ads and, you know, escorting up in drag, and then just full throttle. Five years later, they're a doll. So I don't really particularly like to hang around the gays in that capacity. I don't allow them to be in my space. I don't like to answer my phone calls around them. I don't like to talk about, you know, relationship issues around, but that's just, you know, me and what I've experienced and is that trauma?
I'm about to ask you, are you
Is that-
homophobic?
I would believe
Is
so.
it trauma?
It sounds like a little
I believe it is trauma.
Anti-LGBT.
But not really, because I love my gays. I just feel like, see, gay men don't know their place when it comes to trans women. If I'm around a gay guy, I would want him to be naturally, organically himself. So a lot of gays want to compete. They want to like battle. They want to, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't like the competition, because it's not a competition, you know? And I don't like to compete with other girls because...
Okay, you say it's not a competition, but then I go back to what you said about how the gays have all of a sudden transitioned. To me, that sounded like a little bit of hate. It sounded like some hate, knowing that now you were going to have competition. So I think that's exactly what it is. It's a competition, and you didn't want anyone else to enter that realm to perhaps compete for who you like. That's hate, baby girl.
We're not competing against each other. I don't really think that the gay guys find a balance within their femininity or being naturally loving, caring, supportive, and attentive to me as a woman. And like, I don't hang out with gays who are flamboyant. That's my issue, because it's like when I'm with a gay guy and he's like masculine, I need him to be like a regular guy, you know? And that type of guy typically is not going to be trying to impress the type of guys that would be attracted to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's always an issue. They always want to sit underneath, you know, the trade's face. They want to play PS, 7 with the trade, and it's just like, you're doing too much. Like,
and I'm trying not to be disrespectful, right? So when it comes to these gay boys trying to get transgender work, I'm gonna say that, and I think that is so fair. I think that's fair to say. Gay guys is getting transgender work. We talking about facial feminization, and we talking about BBLs, because they're not gonna get implants, because they're not gonna go that far, because they know deep down inside they don't feel like a woman how us trans women do. So, with these gay guys getting work, it's unacceptable.
Why is it unacceptable? They want to be that girl.
I would say this, and I'm so sorry to laugh, but I have to be real. That's all I know how to be. If you want to be feminine, be feminine. Be a feminine guy. But I feel like when it comes to you trying to be like get trans work, like how trans women do to feel more complete, I feel like that's a mockery. It's a mockery. It's a fool. It's foolish. It's a fool. They deep down inside don't want.
Okay, my question becomes this: who was the first to have a BBL? A cis woman or a trans woman? Because if it's a cis woman, then aren't you following the cis? Right? Remember, this world is a majority of followers. Remember that. So yeah, I can see why a feminine gay guy would go get a BBL. I can see that. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. A lot of you get BBLs when you don't have to. You don't have to. And I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not clowning or nothing. But some of y'all got extra excess fat that you just transfer from wherever to your ass and have a natural looking ass. Because I'm going to be the first ones. Those BBLs don't look natural at all. At all. But if you like them, I love them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, stop the hate. You know what I mean? Because I'm like this. As she said, the world is different. So if the world is different, and we have more followers now than ever, you can't be surprised that a feminine male is going to go get a BBL. You know what I mean? Because maybe, he don't like his ass. Okay, because I'm very sure that that's, what half of y'all to do it for. Because some of y'all, I've seen some of y'all got a natural shape without padding. Just have a natural shape. But for some reason, that's not good enough. Oh, I need this, I need that. I mean, I know some of that made sense, some of it didn't. But yeah, I'm also, dealing with my trauma with this as well, so.
Want to be a woman. They want to get the guys that we get. They're not gonna get no titties, but they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this, cause that's what attract guys nowadays. So of course they're gonna go to the doctor.
What guys are you talking about? That's what I'd like to know. What guys are you talking about? Cause me, shit, I don't need no female with a BBL. I don't need that shit. At all. You know what this man needs? Someone who's grounded, someone who knows who the fuck they are, stands 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I would like for them to have a little bit of ass, but I don't need no BBL kind of ass. I don't need no wide hips. Because all that does for me as a man, especially, let's say I'm with you and we out and about, now I got fucking eyes on you. So how the fuck you think that makes me feel? Especially in these days when there's men that are disrespectful as fuck. You know what I mean? And will walk right up to you, let's say the word of date, and, well, hey, what up, girl? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got this, I got that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would rather have a regular trans woman with a decent body. I don't need no extravagant shit. I mean, you can say, oh, that's insecurities. But if I go back to some of these tea time network conversations, y'all be guilty as fuck of just that.
Doctor, like they've been doing. Like I got a friend that's doing it now. Of course they're gonna go to the doctor and tell them that they're non-binary to get that surgery. And I'm talking about makeup, beard and mustache, boy clothing. I've seen it, and they know that they want to live the lifestyle that we live. But little do they know, our lifestyle is not all peaches and cream.
I remember when I first started, I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. I was actually the first trans woman in my high school that graduated. And, I was just so rebellious because I didn't grow up with such support from my family. So I was very rebellious. I was like, you know what, like, fuck you. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna live my life because I don't want to be fucking 70 years old and regret, not living my truth, Mm-hmm. So when I first started transitioning, I made it very public. I remember shaving my whole head because I was like, all right, I want my hair to start growing. And I remember I used to be a bald girl with 6-inch heels with a little fucking mini skirt. Like, I looked fucking ridiculous, And obviously there was times where men would be like, oh, yo, that's a faggot. That's a man. I remember the worst thing I ever got was when I was walking on Main Street in Paterson. And it really broke me down, But it also made me strong because I remember I was passing by And I used to get guys ask me, look, oh, how big are you, from across the street, and yell it like really loud, and it would be embarrassing. And I remember I came home to my mom crying, and I was like, you know, I was just devastated. You know, obviously I wanted to be fish and everything at such a young age and very quick. But you know, it obviously takes time. I always tell people it takes time, and eventually you'll look back and be like, you know what, like, look at where I'm at now, you know? I definitely see the divide between trans girls that are passable and trans girls that are brick. Brick meaning, you know, you look a little hard, you look a little manly. There is a divide. You could definitely feel it. Even for me, like, I am real enough, but I know there's a lot of girls that are just so much closer for some weird reason. And I don't know if that comes with like intimidation, or if they just don't want to associate with other girls that are passable. I feel like nowadays, like even before, I used to always say this when I was growing up, I feel like a lot of the girls are just divided, and I feel like instead of being divided, we should come together and, you know, fucking rule this world, you know? We just need a little more love and respect for others, you know? Like I said, there was a point where you were a fucking brick too, sis, you know? Like, you were there at one point, I was there at one point too. So, you know, why treat someone else less than you just because you're not up to your level or your look, or, you know, you don't want them to be around you because then you're going to be afraid that they're going to spook.
That reminds me of an episode from Pose. You know, of how, I forgot her name, but how she was just so passable. You know, and she was winning all these awards, you know, from the balls, you know what I mean? Winning all the awards, you know. That was it.
You too, you know, like for me, like I have some girlfriends where I can be honest, you know, are not that passable, and that's perfectly fine. And I don't feel any type of way when I walk with them, because if they clock her and they clock me, oh well, you can still stare at me, I look good, you know, like it doesn't really bother me. But there definitely is this divide, and I just feel like we should just come together and help each other out rather than, you know, be more divided. You know, we already have the world against us, so why go at it with each other?
Some of the girls are not even girls like behind closed doors. Like, let's talk about that. You know,
We can talk about it.
all the girls want to be the girls and the dolls and all of the things, but you go into their home and they're literally living like a fucking goddamn boys' locker room. Like, people's mattresses are black. Like, that is disgusting. There's no sheets on the bed. Like, and then y'all want to film on stuff like that. Like, it's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It just bothers me how some of the girls, like, literally put a beautiful girl, a beautiful face, and then you just go into her home in private space and you be like, what? Miss Thing Girl. Do what? And I feel like that's a feminine quality and trait that a lot of LGBT people do not have, because most of them were kicked out when they were young. You know what I mean? So they've never had to make their bed when they get out of bed. So, you know, and they're always in a rush, or they do everything last minute. So everything is always disorganized, and then you can't find your keys because you don't know where you put it at. So it's like, these are things that, as a woman, you should be domesticated. I've been doing this since I was 13. So when I got silicone, I end up getting, it's not called now it's called hate crime, but back then it was called gay bashing. So I experienced being a victim of gay bashing, and I got jumped. And I really, in my mind, thought that it was because how I looked, right? Or that the guys could tell, you know, what I was. Even though people around me would tell me that, you know, I was pretty or passable, I really didn't understand why that happened to me, because I was minding my own damn business. And as naive as I was back then, I didn't understand it. As time, you know, came along, I understood. I felt like I needed to achieve, you know, a more feminine silhouette, a more feminine shaped body, and then I wouldn't be as I guess a laughing stock, or all of the issues that come along with not passing. You know, that was a horrible experience, and that in my mind, in my, you know, the psyche of it, led me to getting injections. And boy, was that an issue, because I hear so many people say, oh, you could just get a BBL. Listen, there was no BBL 10, 15 years ago. If you were trying to get work in the United States of America and you went to a doctor and told them that you were a boy or a trans, they would look at you like you were crazy. So we had to resort to, you know, international borders to get the work done, because of course everywhere else is progressive with trans but America.
Do you recommend a girl getting pumped with silicone?
Do I recommend a girl to get pumped? I think that is like on a serious case-by-case situation, because some girls are skinny, they don't have any, you know, extra fat or transferable fat. However, if it's provided, you know, from a doctor, which I know doctors who do them, they're not in the USA. However, I know a lot of, you know, my LA girls, my LA girlfriends who, child, y'all body, that was silicone, that was medical grade silicone, you know what I mean? So if it's under those type of circumstances, I could, you know, recommend that you go to that specific doctor that specializes, but at the end of the day, no free floating silicone is not good at all, you know? So, and I think that, play it safe.
What happened in your situation?
So like 3 years ago, I started having like discomfort, pain, and then like I kept going to the hospital. I'm a stickler for health, like especially when it comes to listen, if I hit my big toe on stub it, I'm going to the hospital. Like, I'm that type of individual. You know, a lot of people don't like to go to the hospital, bitch. I will go to the hospital for anything. Lo and behold, my silicone was leaking down, like literally down my leg, and messing up with like my nerves. And then it got to a point where I just couldn't even wear heels.
That's why I say fat transfer. Because of stuff like that. This woman is lucky to be alive. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm glad she caught it before it could do any more damage. You know what I mean? But I really feel the healthier, you know, just transfer fat. If you have the fat to transfer. You know, just like she said, if you have it to transfer, yes, transfer your fat. I mean, it's easier, healthier, because it's your own fat going back into you. You know what I mean?
At all, and I was just like, okay, so this is a problem, and I couldn't figure out, or the 10 doctors couldn't figure out what was going on, because I also had, you know, a bacterial infection in my blood. So it's like, where is this? It's 10 doctors standing around me on this bed. I'm dying every day, bro. Like, what's going on? And they can't figure out what it is. They were thinking it was like a traveling virus, you know, like they were trying to figure out where it was deriving from. Lo and behold, it was my silicone. So when I found that out, I didn't want to believe it, because I didn't have, you know, too much issues with my ass. And then it started changing, deforming, and started, you know, hardening. And that was like my last straw. I was like, oh no, this has to come out. So I started doing research, which brought me to New York. And the doctor that I went to, typically he doesn't, you know, do silicone removal, but I'm glad he chose me as a candidate to do so. And I will not lie, it was the worst experience of surgeries that I've ever had. The most painful, the most, psychological. It's everything that has transpired. I would definitely recommend anybody who's had silicone injections to remove it ASAP.
I am blessed by the man above that I didn't have to do so much work to my face. So next one, make a year since I had my chin done. All I did was do my chin, did my breast twice, got a little fix down here, and got my BBL.
I had my chin done. I had my mandibles done. I had this shaven down just to make it more V because I had a wide jawline. I did my orbitals, my brow bone. I also, since they opened me from ear to ear, I was like, all right, give me a little lift. So they lifted my eyes and my brows, and the tissue that he used, he put it on my lips to give me a little more like puckered lips naturally, because at first I wanted to get like fat on my lips for my stomach, but the body eats most of the fat, so it ends up going away. So I wanted something more permanent, and that's what I got done. Next thing I want to get done that's in the works is bottom surgery, but I'm a little bit scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really just terrified in the sense that after I'm done with the surgery, I'm gonna have to put 4 fucking dildos of different sizes up my coochie. Like, do I really want to go through?
The only thing that I ask as a man is honestly, like I said earlier, now I really do feel that you are obligated to tell him. Especially when you get bottom surgery. Because like I said before, he may see you as his future, as the mother of his child. And he may not, nobody yet. I just say how it is. Adoption is off the table. There is no adoption. No matter how much you try to convince him, he's like, no, natural birth. That's why I'm like, please. Don't lead these guys on. When it comes to y'all bottom half, nothing. Let them know. I mean, because they could really be seeing you as their absolute fucking future. You know what I'm saying? Absolute future. They could be like, oh man, we gonna make some pretty ass kids. But then, like, and that really scares me when it comes to the trans community and, the full surgeries. I get it. I support it. Hey, be you, unapologetically be you. You know what I mean? But I just really feel that right there is when you really, I mean, yes, you have a choice to or not to, but that's when, that bullshit can come back to haunt you. That, oh, I was tricked bullshit could come back to haunt you when they don't know.
All that, I feel like now, ever since I got FFS done and I had my boobs done now for more than I think 5 years, like I feel like, and I've always been petite, I'm only 5'6", I've always been small. Like I feel like I don't need to get the surgery, but I just know mentally I would feel so much more at ease, and I'll be able to wear stuff, because honestly, tucking fucking sucks. Tucking is a big topic, and not a lot of girls talk about it, but like I'm gonna be very upfront. When you tuck, like after a while it fucking hurts, like sometimes you'll get blisters, some people get ingrown hairs like that, some people get infections. It happens, and like it's a thing. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it happens, And yeah, like I'm just sick and tired of it. I want to be able to wear jeans and be able to put on a bikini and not really care or think about it so much and be like, oh my god, am I okay? Is this showing?
Understandable.
Is it bulging? Is
Understandable.
my pussy a little bit too thick? You know, like, you know, I don't want that. So that's the main reason why I want to get it done. But also because, like I said, I would just feel a little more in tune with myself. Also, just because I got these surgeries doesn't mean everybody has to get surgery, you know? Like I said, I believe you should go through it fully, but it's not for everyone. You know, whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. If you believe you're a woman and you are a woman and that's what you give, then that's what you are. You don't have to get bottom surgery. You know, not everybody's journey is the same.
I'm not the most passable. I don't care if you know that I'm trans or not. If I'm walking down the street and a guy who I believe is straight says, that's a fucking nigga, that's a boy, that's a drag, whatever, however he wants to say it, I'm not.
Then that person is deliberately trying to get you hurt. Straight up. They are deliberately trying to get you hurt. That's why I've always said, and I'm going to continue to say it now. If you got pepper spray, fuck that. No. Get your ass a fucking knife. I don't condone that violence, but I condone protection. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a knife. If you qualify, get yourself a handgun. Now fuck that pepper spray and those tasers. Because as far as I'm concerned, yeah, those two things ain't gonna really do things. But you know, a knife or a gun, yeah, they might change your whole fucking mindset. But oh, hold on, this woman ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Or they may just, hey, you know what? I apologize. I misgendered you. I apologize. Either or. But the main important thing is to have it for protection. Straight up.
I'm not going to argue with that person. Why would I? First off, let's break that down, okay? Because I know a lot of girls love to put themselves in compromising situations because they want to fight for their tea, or they want to check the trade, or they want to, whatever the case may be. If I know a person is delivering a message abruptly, loudly, ignorantly, in public setting, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't respect you.
No.
So why would I argue with a person who has no respect for themselves, nor me? Why would I argue with a person, and let's be clear and honest and technical, was there some truth to what they said? So why even create that energy to follow suit? Why do the girls do that? Why do they want to go off? Why do they want to fight for their tea? Why do they want to, you know, I just never understood that. And it's maybe because I've gotten to a place where I've seen so many of the girls pass. I've seen so many of the girls, you know, put themselves in so many situations where it could have been avoided, where if he's ignorant, you ain't gonna change his mindset.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the content. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you can, send us a super thanks. Tea Time Network is ad-free, so show us your support. We can use the help.
I was at a carnival and I was with the Trey, and like Trey was handing it, girl. Like he was uber masculine. It was breaking me down. I was feeling like this. I was like, yes. So this one guy, he was, child, you know the tranny chasers. They are rampant and they are fierce. And if they get any rejection, they are calling you out of your name, character, and all of the things. So this one guy was literally like doing the same thing and yelling like, that's a dude right there. Yeah, that's a dude. Mind you, and I'm like with my friend, and my friend's like, yo, why is he going off? You know this nigga? I'm like, no, I don't know that nigga. And he's steadily like saying, yeah, you trans, whatever he said. And I'm looking around like, who is he talking to? Like, bitch, I know I'm one. I thought that nigga was literally like saying somebody else when you was like a trans. Cause I'm like, bitch, I don't need him to tell me what I am. Like, bitch, what is wrong with you? Like, and everybody looking at like, what? What is this man crazy? Now he look dumb. Cause I'm not falling into it. For what? Why?
It's not all glitz and glam. When they stay in too long, that's when they get clocked. When they give you that. For the past 6 years, I had to say,
That part ain't true. At least I don't think it's true. I don't know. I'm just me. Cause to me, I give you that look is some different. It's like, oh shit. It's like, oh, okay, I see, girl. Oh, attractive and shit. I like what you're wearing. You know what I'm saying? I may like the way that you did up. You know what I mean? But I get it for most men, that's most likely what they're doing. You know what I mean? So I get it.
to myself, baby, the world is getting very vicious and you never know. So I always carry this. I carry this for protection because these guys are really not in their right minds. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth. These guys are out to harm trans women. This is bear deteriorate, a counter assault, bear deteriorate, grizzly tough bear spray. Animals. That's how these guys are. You gotta treat them like animals. I had to use it on 2 clients.
That's the fucking problem right there. That's the fucking problem. That you put all of us fucking men in that same fucking basket, don't you? You can't put all of us men in that same fucking basket. We don't want to be in that fucking basket. Some of us try so damn hard to show y'all that we are different from that motherfucker that you just got finished dealing with. But the first thing y'all do is you put us right back in the same fucking bucket with that other motherfucker. It ain't cool. It ain't cool.
And I had to use it on a girl. Oh, I don't play that. I don't like altercation. So to protect me, because I'm a woman of trans experience, and to protect just everything about me, of what I work hard for, I gotta spray and go.
Do you think it's easier for a passable trans woman to find love?
No. I do not believe that it's easier for a passable
I agree.
to find love. I think that it's equally difficult for all of us trans to find love because it's such a...
Now, before I let her finish, what is love to y'all is what I would like to know. What is love when it comes to the ladies of the trans world? Because I'm going to let you know right now, if love is all tall, dark, big muscles, big dick, then you don't want love. I'm sorry, baby girl. Because you could be 6'2", you're fucking the guy who loves you and everything about you, maybe no more than 5'8". You 6 foot, he 5'8". If you are embarrassed to be around that man, or because he may not look or fit what you feel that you deserve, you ain't ready for love. Especially you, because you're the main one who said beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So that's the fact. Then guess what? So is love. So is genuine love. I'm just saying.
sex-driven lifestyle. You know? I mean, I'm a transsexual. So the first thing that guys' minds go straight to is, what? How big are you? When it comes to women and trans women finding love, I think that the most authentic way that you're going to find love is being brutally honest from day one.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
No one likes to feel lied, deceived, or being withheld from the truth.
Let's go.
Any capacity.
That's what I'm talking about.
I will say that 100 wholeheartedly, and I stand on that, because you have girls out here that will, go on 8 dates and never tell T until you want to have sex with that individual, right? Or you can be like me and even, push through and not tell T and even take showers with them and still be, pushing through. Like, I mean, I used to literally push the envelope.
That's dangerous. That is dangerous. But that goes right back to what I was saying earlier about, about us men. About how, you can have a coochie, the coochie can be flawless. But what if we thinking of a bigger future?
I mean, I've had relationships where it was like I had someone like just for rent. Like, I would date a guy and, he would be like, that would be like car insurance. Or, I would date a guy and he would be like, you know what I mean? Like car note. So,
now, I'm going to be brutally honest. That is half of the reason that your lives get taken. Because you're playing a man who genuinely likes you for you. Most likely he's been over backwards to help you with rent, card notes, whatever, because he likes you. So think about that. And then if he was to find out he's been played and that he's not the only one, you can't be mad at that man if he wants to come from the shoulders. You can't be mad at him. I mean, I don't condone it, but at the same time, I can't tell nobody how to feel. But I know if that's what most of y'all are doing, and if you ain't real with that man, it's possible for you to get the ones and twos. If worse, a pop. Because you ain't being real with a man who's actually being real with you. And I get it. Some of us men say what the fuck you want to hear. Because we try to get in and smash it up. I get it. But then there's genuine men out there in the LGBTQ plus A community that genuinely give a fuck. That genuinely like you for who you are. But we're the men that get pushed to the side. Why? We ain't tall, don't have big muscles, may not have a huge dick. So y'all just push us to the side or you use us. Nah. Stop that shit.
A guy would think that he's like fucking me and like he's totally thighing me and like, yeah, like I need abortion money. Like I'm late. Like the girls got all of their scandals and tricks to the game. And whew, I used to be a trickster.
I call myself the organic fish because I'm different. I'm different from other trans women.
How?
This would be very shocking to some people. I could suck a dick and not tell a guy anything. I could suck a dick and not tell a guy anything. I could go inside of a store and have a conversation with the guy with 5, 6 other homeboys, and ain't none of them gonna clock it. I can go to a straight club and they're not gonna know tea, like I did on New Year's. It's a lot of stuff I can do that nobody will ever know.
Man, I've had guys cry to me, be like, I wish you would have never told me. Cause it's like, he knew. But it's like when you confirm it, then they have to battle this mindset of the reality of, now they're questioning everything in their mindset.
That's when it's time to run.
Back in the day, when you were really getting a real piece of trade and it was his first time, immediately.
Miss Ashley. I heard what you said. So that's when it's time to run, huh? So because a man is questioning his sexuality now, it's time to run. I don't see that as true. Because I really do feel too, a lot of women miss out on good men because, ooh, that's a sign, run, go. When all that man needed was most likely for you to be there, ensure him, so therefore he feels more sure about himself. But if that's the first sign is run, yeah, I wouldn't be sure about myself either. I wouldn't. Because you just showed me what to expect from you.
After he nut and he get the... Yo, so...
Starts reading Bible scripture.
You know, like...
He starts talking about
like,
Bible
am I
quotes.
gay? Like, yo, no. Come sit down. Like, talk to me for a second. And I'll be like, you know, baby, it's time for you to go. Yeah. They were like, yo, come talk to me for a second. And I'd be like, what? Talk about what? Like, you go. Like, out the door, bye. Them niggas be like crazy. Like, I mean, whoa.
He starts coming out.
You want to talk about
Man,
revelations
you made
and
me gay.
what? Who is that? No. I didn't make you anything. Okay, let's be clear here. I did not ask for my penis to go in your mouth, sir. I promise you I did not ask. What I did ask was, could you go deeper?
When I think about it, even if I was to get a pussy, I think I would still be honest, because I wouldn't want to be with someone that I know genuinely doesn't love me for me, and all the struggles that I've been through, and everything I had to deal with when it comes to society, my life, school, work, like everything. I want them to love me for me, and I wouldn't want to hide and have to hide pictures and have to hide my family or family members that I know are gonna misgender me by accident or are still not on board, like. Or friends or my girlfriends. I don't want to be like, hey, you can't come over because then my husband is gonna know or clock your tea, and then he's gonna clock me. And then I have this one girlfriend where she told me, she was like, you know what, like, yeah, like I get men and stuff, but she also told me one time that there was this guy that, you know, she was sleeping and he ate her out while she's sleeping, and that he, I guess, kind of noticed the 2 lines of the scarring, and that he was questioning her like, hey, like, why is that there, like, what's going on? And he started to like pick up on shit, and that she freaked out and she had to leave his house. So, you know, it's like situations like that. I just rather be honest. I'm not trying to be another number, you know, out there, and you know, because that's how they just see us, which is so unfortunate. But they just see you as just another number, another trans girl that lied to a guy, when in reality that's not.
Now she's talking about society. Yeah, I mean, she could be talking about some of these sorry ass men though too. You know, the chasers, if you will. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her for being honest up front. Cause I'm like, when you're up front, and you know, knock on wood, something bad happens. Guess what? The evidence is there. So if that motherfucker told me, oh no, she didn't. The evidence is right there. You said okay. You said that you were fine with it. Which I still, and I'm gonna say it again. Please, for every trans woman out there, if you meet someone on the dating site or whatever, if you give him your tea and he said okay, send that shit to every motherfucker you know. Cause that could be the difference between him doing, I don't know, a few days and some probation to doing years to life. Just saying.
Everybody's case. So as long as you're not hurting anybody and living your truth, that's all that matters. You know, fuck what anybody else thinks. They're not paying your bills.
And they're not paying for your surge.
Exactly. They're not paying for your surge. They don't know all the stuff that you've been through to become who you are, you know?
We as trans people can sit around all day and talk about passability, doesn't matter, all of that. But the reality is we live in a world where people will devalue our lives and want to take our lives and or discriminate against us just because we're trans. So that being said, if you can, it is wise to do everything you can to present the way you want people to see you.
Trans women that have beards and mustaches that want to be called miss, that's a fool. Just women, period. They don't walk outside before beards and mustache. That's what we have laser and electrolysis for. What about it says women? When they sit there and have full beards and
cis women have beards and they grow a lot of hair.
all over their face like that? Yeah.
Genetics.
Yeah.
If you are a trans woman and you have a beard, ask yourself how you expect to be treated in the world, knowing that people will give you shit for it. There are times, you know, when I did get my documents changed, right? I feel a pressure to look like that picture in my ID, right? And some days I don't want to put on makeup. Some days I don't want to do anything to my hair. Some days I don't want to I just want to be in like sweats and like not care, right? But I also feel so much better when I have makeup on and my hair is done and all this stuff. Like it just, I mean, that's truly who I am at the core of my being. And you know, all of this is so focused on the physical and the appearance that we have, but there's so much more to being trans than that. It's at the core of my very being. If you don't pass, that's okay. Do something little for yourself to make yourself feel the most empowered that you can.
Wow, okay. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Hope, most importantly, that you learned something. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what you think about me. See what I'm saying? Because as far as I'm concerned, y'all motherfuckers that see this, that would, oh, ha, 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 ha. Well, guess what? I'll be the first one to say I'm a real nigga. I'm what the fuck you try to be. Because as far as I'm concerned, y'all motherfuckers that use real niggas be fake as fuck. You don't stand on your truth or any of that shit that you say you're real about. To the women, hey, you did a great job on this interview. Please stay safe. I mean, just like I said, and I'll say it again, keep a blade or a bang bang in your purse. Sister, she had the bear spray. Yeah, no, that's cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's stop the hating. Let's try to get to know each other. You know what I mean? Cause right now we like this. We're all supposed to be like this. We're all connected, whether you like it or not. Straight, gay, bi, whatever. We're all connected. We're all human beings at the end of the fucking day. Period. We're all human beings at the end of the day. So let's try to respect each other and understand where everybody is coming from. Understand that my walk of life may not be like yours. This person over here may not be like mine. But having the understanding is to me is way more important than just sitting here and judging somebody just off of appearance. But let me stop. I mean, I'm venting. But if you like the video, you know, share, subscribe, definitely comment. Definitely comment. I mean, I don't care if it's negative or positive. That just lets me know where you stand as a human being. You know what I mean? But let me get on out of here and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.